Yo, welcome to Disruptive Minds. I'm your host, Jerome A. Carter, and the A stand for always learning. So, this video is going to be based on what I call the P.O.P.E principle. The principle I came up with that just helps. When it comes to mental health, you want things to be simple and clean. You don't want to be too foggy. You don't want to be too wordy and stuff like that. It's too much. What I find is dealing with people with mental health, dealing with people reading about mental health or whatever, it's too wordy. There's too many big words. There's too much of what they're trying to say, what they're not trying to say, and people aren't understanding. So I like to keep things very simple. So today's video is going to be about P.O.P.E principle. What is the P.O.P.E principle? Like I said, something I came up with. It stands for, and nothing to do with religion, so don't go that route. P.O.P.E principle stands for personally observe, personally experience. That's it. P.O.P.E. Personally observe, personally experience. So if a person hasn't personally observed something or haven't personally experienced something, they can have their opinion. There's nothing wrong with having your opinion. Sure, you can have your opinion about a lot of things that you didn't personally observe or personally experience, right? But when it comes to giving somebody actual advice, that's where things get real gray real fast, especially online. There are a lot of people who give out their quote-unquote opinion and they don't have any personal experience. You know, they read something, they went through somebody else's course. There's a lot of people do that. They go through other people's courses and then they be like, now they know what they're talking about. No, they don't know what they're talking about. So when I talk about personally observed, personally experience, I mean exactly that. If a person hasn't actually done that thing and they've been sitting in the bleachers, but they're talking like they've been there, that's not somebody you can listen to them, but not take advice for them, right? Same thing if a person experienced something and they haven't actually experienced it, they've been in the bleachers. They're in the bleachers. And you have to ask those questions. And you can do it in a roundabout way, or you can just be like, hey man, have you ever did that? No, you ever seen that? Well, my boy told me, or I've something like that. That's hearsay. Even in court, they talk about hearsay. I used to be in law enforcement for 12 years. In court, hearsay don't work. You can't say something that somebody else said because that's hearsay. Who knows what they said was right? And when it comes to mental health, when it comes to relationships, when it comes to money, you need to be or listen to somebody who's actually personally observed or personally experienced that situation. Why are we listening to people who, it's like, and there's no shot at relationship gurus, but you got the relationship gurus who aren't in relationships. That means anybody can be in a relationship guru. If they're just willing to put themselves on camera, say what they say, and stand by what they say, be it right or be it wrong, don't matter. Right? When it comes to money, multiple scams when it comes to money, because why? The average person doesn't know much about when it comes to money. Other than I work, I get paid, I pay my bills. When it comes to investing and really buying homes and all the interest rates and cars and FICO scores and done reports and stuff like that, most people don't have a clue of what all that is. And that's why it's easy to fool so many people when it comes to money. I stay away from all that stuff. I focus only on mental health. Period. Mental health when it comes to men, particularly black men. That's what keeps things very clean and very simple for me. Why? I'm a man, I'm a black man. So I can personally observe and personally experience the shit that I'm telling you. This isn't coming from a book that I read and somebody was like, well, the proper way to address this is that you should blah, blah, blah. That shit ain't gonna work. Just like when I was in the police academy and just like when I was went to the military, basic military training. They say we teach you enough to get you killed because what you learn in class, you can't learn in real world. It just don't work. It doesn't. Sometimes it does. But exceptions to the rule doesn't negate the rule. Because you learn something in class and you come outside and I know karate, now I'm going out here and do it, and you get knocked out by somebody. Like, well, you knew karate, but it's different. I was in classroom and we were doing this and that, and dude was in the classroom. He was more determined than I was, and that's why I got knocked out. But we sit here and we listen to people talk about, we listen to, and I particularly have an issue with people who talk mental health in such a generalization when it comes to men. It's just like, it irks the shit out of me. Especially when it comes to black men. It irks the shit out of me. We're just like, well, you'll be better, you'll be all right, pull yourself up, blah, blah, blah. It's way deeper than that. And it's usually white males. It's usually white males. Then you have, of course, you have the black female who are psychologists and psychiatrists. They try their best. And there's no shade on them, respecting them. I follow a lot of them on Instagram and some on Facebook. There's no disrespect to them. But personally observe, personally experience. And they may observe something through their husbands, their brothers, their nephews, but that personal experience of being a black man in America, woo, you have to experience it. You have to experience it. Other than that, you're just all these intellectuals reading books and saying this is how things should work and this is how things should do, and the numbers put to this and the numbers do that. But reality, it doesn't work out that way. Reality is a mother, and you know it. As a black man, as a man, you know reality reality ain't play. Reality's real. Statistics and all those things, those are fine and dandy. Those are great. Yeah, that's great. The real world is a whole other beast, especially in law enforcement. I did it for 12 years. Law enforcement, the beast. I say that to say, when you're listening to people, you got to listen to somebody who at least can relate to you. Minimum, they can relate to you. When I looked up, the American Psychology Association has this 41,000 people in the field. 2% of the 41,000 people are 2% are psychiatrists. Psychiatrists are the ones that can prescribe you medicine. 2%. That's 82. 4% of them are black, and those are the psychologists. And with the 4%, that's 164. Yeah, 164, which is double to 82. That's not a whole lot. And out of those ones that are black, right, you have your biases in their lives where they feel a certain way toward men. Then you have the ones that are LBGQP, all these other, and they're not exactly feeling it. You know what I'm saying? Like that one, you know, the one chick that went, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs and went online and started talking about black men this and black men that. She is a therapist, licensed therapist. So what does that mean when the black man sees that and be like, I'm telling this chick this, and she goes off like that? What advice is she going to give me? Then I hear stories how people go to marriage counseling and it's a female counselor. Oh, it's a wrap. If you're a man going to a female marriage counselor, oh, it's a fucking wrap. It's going to be far and few between. There was one situation where I heard that I was listening to a couple online. They was like, even a wife had to stop the counseling session and say, honey, let's go. So she had to tell her husband, she's just overly biased toward me. And she said that in front of him. So what do we do? Like 50 Cent say, what do we do? What do we fucking do? You have to get your own mental health. Your mental health is your responsibility. 100% you. Right? So just be careful who you listen to. P.O.P.E principle. Remember P.O.P.E, the P.O.P.E. Personally observe, personally experience. Because if it's not that, look, personally observe or personally experience. Either you're listening to somebody who's in the stands, or you listening to somebody who's in the game. Right? And the only thing that separates that is a gate, a fence. That's the only thing that separates people from the game to the stands. I'm out.